Nathan is the most focused on character in the famous Uncharted series, but his older brother Sam Drake is also very interesting. In the first episode of the series, we'll be focusing on Sam Drake and discussing everything important about him, from his personality to his relationship to other characters and even you guys' thoughts on him, with spoilers of course. But before all that, let's find out where he comes from. Sam Drake was born in 1971 before his brother Nathan. In 1981, their mum took her own life, and soon after that their dad left them to be put into St. Francis's boys' home. After leaving the orphanage at 18 years old, he would visit his brother who was still there, and one night they broke into a mansion to find their mother's journals. After escaping the police, Sam and Nate never went back to the orphanage and started new lives under new identities. They spent years throughout the 90s treasure hunting together and eventually teamed up with a guy called Rafe to steal $400 million of lost pirate treasure, but for this they needed to gain access to an old jail cell in Panama. When they find a clue to the treasure, they go to leave, are ambushed by a gang, and while trying to get out, Sam is shot and falls to the ground, while Nate and Rafe escape the prison. While thought to be dead by his brother, Sam spent 13 years locked in that Panaman jail and was released when Rafe found out he was still alive. After 2 years of looking for the treasure in Scotland with Rafe, Sam finally went to find Nate, and this is where the main plot of Uncharted 4 starts. Now let's discuss Sam Drake's personality and traits. Sam has a personality that is much more loud, outgoing and charming compared to his brother. Sam has some of the most memorable, humorous lines in the entire game, and his overall personality is funny, witty and charming. There are negatives to his character though, one of them being that he is very reckless and acts without thinking sometimes, especially when the situation could involve helping his brother or finding the treasure that he's been looking for his entire life. There are also points in the game where Sam can make selfish or unempathetic choices, but many times those choices come from his survival instincts that he has built up over hardship. A very good trait that Sam has is that he is very loyal to his family, especially Nathan, as seen with the many times he came back to his brother even when he had left the orphanage he hated so much, or when he went back to Nathan after being bailed out of jail by Rafe, even if he didn't exactly tell Nathan the truth about how he got out of prison. Even if Sam looks very confident on the outside, there are definitely moments in the mid to late game where he reveals a more exposed side, which shows he does has a vulnerable side. Overall, Sam's character appears very confident, charming and funny on the outside, even if he does have a softer side. He does have a decent amount of flaws, but overall he is a good guy and wants the best for his brother. Now it's time to talk about Sam Drake's motivation and goals in life. Sam's main goal throughout the games he appears in is to survive and be free after his many years in prison. Sam spent many years inside that Panaman prison, so when he got out to realize how much he loved being free, but also knew he had to survive as he had built up multiple enemies from his years of treasure hunting. Probably the most highlighted goal of his is to find the treasure of the Captain Henry Avery, which is the whole plot of Uncharted 4 is built around. Sam also wants to build his relationship with his brother, as they hadn't seen each other in a long time and Nate actually thought he was dead. This is also because Sam is filled with guilt from the past and the danger he brings to his brother's life, and the relationship with his brother isn't the only he has. So now I'll be discussing the main relationship Sam has with other characters, mainly in Uncharted 4. Of course, the main relationship that Sam has, and the one his character is built around, is his connection to Nate, the series protagonist. Sam and Nate grew up together, and each of them could only really trust each other fully for most of their lives. As we have already discussed, Sam feels guilty for a lot of the danger his brother has gotten into, and after Nate and Rafe escaped the prison, Nate thought that Sam was dead. This led to a heartwarming reunion where they decided to try and find the long lost treasure of Henry Avery. The cutscene where they caught up after over a decade of separation might be my favorite in the game, as it sets up the adventure that you are about to go on so well. While there are times when Sam manipulates the loyalty of his brother, such as faking being hunted by Hector Alvarez, there is still deep love and admiration between the pair, and Sam is still a good older brother, as seen when he calls back many times to see Nate at the orphanage, or when at the end of the game Sam gifts their mother's notebook to Nate. Sam's second and only other highlighted relationship is between himself and Rafe Adler, which started as a friendship but turns toxic. At first, Rafe and Sam were treasure hunters together, and Rafe even bailed Sam out of jail in the hope of searching for Henry Avery's treasure together. But over the years, their friendship was ruined by jealousy and greed, and Rafe worked together with Nadine Ross and her company of Kiwi soldiers to actually get an edge of Sam and take the victory for themselves. They had turned into rivals, and throughout the story, Rafe is the main villain, with the final boss fight being being an epic battle between Nate and Rafe on Henry Avery's sinking ship. In the end, Rafe dies because Nate snaps the supporting rope holding up the big bag of treasure Rafe wanted so much, causing it to drop on top of him and kill him, which is ironic because that's what he had wanted so badly, and it was the thing that would end his life. Sam has a couple of other small relationships with Nate's wife, Elena or Nadine, but the last notable one would be his relationship with Sully. Victor Sullivan was introduced to Sam through Nate, and they are the trio that go through most of the story somewhat together, and even if Sully is a bit cautious of Sam at first, by the end of the story, after Nate decides to quit treasure hunting, Sully and Sam continue together, showing the evolution of their trust and friendship. But enough of what I think. Let's find out what you guys thought about Sam when the question was asked. But before that, remember to subscribe because I will be uploading more of this series, and that is the only way to stay notified about my new videos. Now let's start. This person said, I understand why people may not like him, but I personally like his character a lot. I found the writing for him to be interesting and how he fit into the story and represented Nate's internal struggle with adventuring versus setting down. I like him. I also feel bad for him. Imagine you're someone who's been by someone else's side for who knows, only to get caught in a rut where you miss out the rest of that person's life where they achieved those things without you. One of my goats. I wasn't a fan of the long lost brother plot that somehow Nate or Sully never told Alina. It was also jarring how quickly this new character became a core member. The overall writing on him, like his personality and dialogue, was solid though. I actually surprisingly liked his role more in Lost Legacy as a supporting character, which I know is not a popular opinion. He was more fun there. I don't think he's a bad character, but definitely has some weaknesses. The "oh yeah, I'm 38 and never mentioned I have a brother" is a plot hole for sure. I don't hate him, but I really don't enjoy him. Lovable asshole. He's kinda meh. He has a lot of imagination to invent an Alcatraz-style prison escape. Those are all of your guys' thoughts, so let's get back to the video. Sam Drake develops so much as a character throughout Uncharted 4. He starts off as a desperate man on the run who is reckless and filled with guilt. Throughout the game, he grows more responsible and aware of consequences, ultimately leading to the moment where Rafe reveals that Hector Alcaraz had died years ago and Sam's story was completely fake. Even though Nate was angry that Sam had lied to him, he still trusted his brother as they were faced the final chapter of the game. They ultimately leave all the treasure they had been searching for behind, and Nate retires from treasure hunting. In the epilogue of Uncharted 4, we see that Nate, Alina, and their daughter have settled together on a tropical island. If a new Uncharted game ever releases, I think it will be about Sam and Sully's continued adventures, as Sam Drake's story hasn't ended yet, even if his brother's has. Overall, Sam Drake is one of the Uncharted series' most detailed and interesting characters, and he drives a lot of the emotion felt throughout Uncharted 4. The survival and return of Sam to his brother completely changes Nathan's life direction, and he even opens opportunities for another entry in the series. Even if he didn't play much of a role in the most recent spin-off game, The Lost Legacy, Sam still was a feature in the game, proving that Naughty Dog probably have future plans for Sam and Sully. So far, Sam Drake is remembered as a deep character who extends the story beyond just Nate. He has his problems, but most of those stem from him being a human and putting himself first, and it is proven that he'll do almost anything to protect his younger brother. This video is recommended to you, so please watch it and subscribe.